que hacerlo bien. Yo hago eso también, o estamos tratando de hacerlo.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Around the Pole with Pole Realty. Here we have
Stefano Gulbalis with Nebula.
And tell us a little bit more about Nebula.
Well, Nebula is I would consider the most advanced technology right now in the market. We're AI and blockchain marketplace for solutions and talent. We use smart contracts to provide integrity, and so I would say is integrity.
So you're one of the founders, right?
I'm the founder. The main idea started with me 40 years ago at Miami-Dade College.
In Miami-Dade College.
Yeah.
I read the pamphlet that you sent me. The pamphlet?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
11-page booklet?
Yeah, yeah.
There was a story up in there about someone that helped, that you guys helped?
No, so the story about that I sent you is as an example how this technology can help individuals. Yeah, because Nebula is unlike most solutions out there that are made to make money, right? We're there to make money, but not for us, for the persons using it. So that's why we call that technology human-centered technology. So it's designed to help you instead from taking from you. Most technology is taking from you. Go to Amazon, they take money from you. We provide you security, and security architecture allows you to make money without intermediation.
And that's where it says zero bias technology, right?
Well, so the bias part is very important. So so AI, we know AI is very biased. AI has biased algorithms, and the data AI is trained is biased already, because if you're absorbing the internet, it has so much garbage there, right? So it's very problematic to use that data, and it's always going to be biased. So to remove bias, we're looking at methodology that you can map your personal skills, talent, aptitude, reputation, schoolwork, right? Diploma, certifications, into what we call a decentralized identity, right? And in blockchain, there's something called soulbound tokens. It's a token from Ethereum that goes to you. And decentralized identities allows you to absorb information that's only yours and only yours to give away. So the privacy is 100% yours, but by us mapping your aptitude and your key elements that are your skill set, your DNA, your DNA, you can present that in a Web3 space without having to present who you are. So if you're a lady that works in South Africa, 75 years old, but she's a special genius, right? In AI algorithms, she's worth $1,000 an hour. But she can only work from 9 to 12, and that's her social contract. That smart contract absorbs that social contract and maintains the integrity of her requirement. That's 9 to 12. So a manager cannot say, you know what, I don't care, yo, you are black, I'm going to let you down. Oh, you are no woman, you're not worth that. With that, the contract is not seeing that. It's only seeing the aptitude and the core value of that individual, whether it's black, yellow, blue, whether it's 1 year old or 100 years old. So we remove all that bias of selection. We have marked that through a decentralized in what they call an oracle that makes that entry in your decentralized identity. An oracle, if you think of it, could be Miami-Dade College, certifying your aptitude, certifying your training, certifying you hands-on, and you have developed that. That oracle can print that in your decentralized identity and certify that, in fact, you have done that. So when you go into this Web3 space, you are not presenting yourself, you're presenting your aptitude. And aptitude does not have bias. Does that make sense?
So is there a need for this in the marketplace?
Oh, it's huge. So in 2027, we had COVID, right? COVID distributed everybody across the world. So the centers of technology and talent were in San Francisco, in Washington State, right? Apple and others, Microsoft, and Chicago, Boston, New York, Dallas, Texas, right? COVID hit, and everybody had to go to their houses. So these centers of aggregation of talent distributed across the world, and they stay distributed as of now. That's why they're having such a hard time bringing people into the offices. So think about, so in this article I have in the paper says by 2027, think about this, the whole world population is going to be working remote, digital nomads. By 2027, 50% of the world population is going to be working remote. So think about the kind of abuse happens, right? You are a worker, a solutions architect in India, you hired a solutions architect here in the United States, right? And you say, okay, I'm going to give you $50,000 for a job. You agree with that, right? Then halfway the project, the gentleman in India walks away with your money. What do? You cannot do a thing. It's the same thing. The Indian guy or the Ecuadorian or Peruvian guy is working a project for you, right? And you pay him $25,000 already, and the guy finishes the project right half the time. He's hoping to collect, and the guy that's buying says, $25,000 is enough. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Click. What do? You have no option because contracts are one way, and for you to enforce law, you have to have money. So if you are the buyer or seller, if you have a lot of money, you can injure the other one very badly because you have the law on your side. You have money. Money is law, unfortunately, because the reality of blind law doesn't exist. The beauty of the smart contract, it does not trust that system.
The smart contract?
The smart contract does not trust that system. The smart contract is a blockchain contract that basically protects all the stakeholders, from the buyer to the seller, right? Think how you do a contract with federal government, right? You, as a person who's contracted in federal government, you have to put a bond, right? And that bond guarantees that you're going to do the job, or else what happens to that bond? The federal government takes it, right? And of course, you do your job, you have a group of 10 people, you finish the job, and the federal government has net 60, not 6 months. For a small company, you're done. You're broke. Yeah, that's why only Lockheed Martin and all these big guys can play with the federal government, because they can afford to wait forever for that $3 billion contract, right? But the little guy doesn't have or cannot be afforded that option. So with a smart contract, it allows you to participate in solutions like that without that risk, because it's a stake contract. The smart contract forces to put that bond, and that bond is called a stake. So you as an employee that wants to work in the contract, you put a stake. You as federal government, you put a stake. So basically a stake is put your money where your mouth is, right? So you put a stake, so you seal the contract and you do your work. You complete your work. Normally the federal government, the guys that working behind the desk, a nice guy pays you right away, but typically it's very bureaucratic. You end up 6 months, maybe you get your check. Well, the beauty with a smart contract, the moment the contract said you get paid the moment you do X, or you get paid every week, the smart contract code is law. The federal government, once it goes in the smart contract, cannot do nothing with it because they signed the contract. And that smart contract is two-way contract, so it protects everybody, from the federal government to the persons working it, because the federal government needs to be protected. Example, this smart contract I'm looking and visioning to putting into the National Science Foundation, because they have this problem with the grants, right? You give a grant, they work on the grant, and they run away with the money. Yeah, $10 million, $20 million. They have billions of dollars being lost, billions of dollars lost and stolen. Because they do research in everything. Think about National Science Foundation does research in AI, research in blockchain, in quantum computing, in bioscience, in nuclear physics. Think about that what they cover. They cover every single aspect of technology in this planet, right? Because the United States needs to be on top of technology. But the problem is they're stealing the IP, number one, and they steal the money. With a smart contract, all that gets blocked completely, 100%, not halfway, 100%. So it creates a value not only for the United States, but value for the person that's integrating the smart contract. Because if you're working You do that, you get paid the moment you have completed. So the smart contract in Web3 is completely it differentiates how contracts are going to be in the future. So think of a smart contract as a contract of sale for a house, right? You take that and you digitize into a smart contract, and that's what it is. A legal contract, digital twin into a code is law solution, right? And guess what? No more intermediations, because the smart contract removes the consulting firms. Let's say if you do hire a consultants from India, right? They charge $32 here in India. They're charging $400 here in the United States. That's the intermediary. That Indian solutions consultant does not see a cent of that. Capgemini, Accenture, Infosys, all those see that money, but that guy will never see it. With smart contract, he can remove Capgemini, go into a contract and charge $100. That's more reasonable, right? And it's fair, and he can work out of India, he can work out of South Africa, he can work out of the South Pole if you want to.
Wow. So, do you think that we're approaching a work ecosystem without offices?
You can do with this. Because what
But
happens...
do you see it happening?
Oh yeah,
100%.
It's happening in 2027. 50% of the world population is going to be this digital nomad. 50%.
But do you ever see it being 100%?
Why not? You know, and that's what the problem is, because you see the people. You know, I worked virtual all my career. I moved to work for Digital Equipment Corporation, now it's HP, and the first thing that my HR person was virtual, and she says, "Do you want to work virtual?" And that's in 1996. Right. Yeah, something like that. I said, "Is she kidding me? Oh man, I don't have to commute. They gave me desk, they gave me computer, they gave me fax, they gave me internet, they pay me for a car, the washes in the car, the gasoline in the car." I said, "Oh yeah, I am going virtual." I never have looked back, because the quality of life is so much better. Right? You don't have to be rushing and hit that traffic and be an hour and a half in traffic, come in the office, you're already having a heart attack, or you're hysterical, in a bad mood. Poor of the guy that crosses you, right? Because you have been cursed and showed the finger, and it's so many things that happen by traffic, right? So it's a human-centered way to work from home. Because you can have your kid, you have your pet with you, your wife, you have lunch with her at home, with your kids. So it's more human-centered. Whereas in the office, I'm the boss, I tell you what to do, you come to the office. So it removes the ties of having to work for an organization. Because if you have the talent, the aptitude, you do not need Capgemini. You do not need Verizon. You don't need IBM. You don't need no one, because you can stand by yourself and get paid what you are worth it. And that's the beauty of a human-centered solution, right?
So what are these nebulized buildathons? What are those that I also saw in the booklet?
It's so important. So you ever heard of hackathons, right? Hackathons.
Sure.
And you think they're great, right?
Sure.
They're not. They're horrible. Because someone pays for that.
Right.
That person that pays for that is going to have a price of $50,000, whichever builds this for me, right? Right?
Right.
So that person is going to take the IP of that person, and everybody in the room that does not win the prize loses that IP, because he takes it. He takes the winning one, and usually the winning one is a professional hackathon guy, so the students do not get a chance to do nothing. So for me, that's garbage. It's no use for everybody else. A Buildathon is a Kaizen servant mentor structure based on superminds from MIT that allows the student to participate in a work to learn program, and whichever helps the students get more funding, more money. So it is a circular economy architecture that allows the rapid development of skills and talent by doing first and working and learning. I'm trying to tie that to Miami-Dade College, so when you work, you can go and learn as you work. So it provides you an agile way of adapting education versus having to go 2, 4, 6, 8 years of education and you have no knowledge of what to do. Learning is the new way of education by doing, right? You have to do, you never forget when you do.
Because you shared with me a video of Heather McCown.
No, Heather McGogan.
McGogan.
Yeah, that video
And
is...
she goes over that we used to learn to work, now we work to learn.
Yeah.
Right?
So, that video is important and changed my life forever. And so I'll leave you the history of that video. Dr. Padron was leaving Miami-Dade College as the president, right? He gave that speech was about the apprenticeship. How important is apprenticeship? Because if you think about what the apprenticeship started in Germany, when the Germans have no males. And there were only females, and they need to fix the cars, they need plumbers, they need electricians. And they have to go and learn that skill, not by schooling. They had to do it because there were no males. And by doing, women learn how to do. So the apprenticeship is rooted in learning by doing, not learning first and doing later. You do and learn. So myself, at Miami-Dade College, I had a situation that was like that. The data analyst died, and I was helping Padron and Kathy. I was doing data entry. And when he died, I was forced to work it. I was forced to figure out that mainframe. I hacked the mainframe. I got in, and when I figured out the program, the program evaluation, data management were running, I moved on. And that is when I started my career. I learned by doing. I was forced to do it because the poor guy died. No one knew about the program. I hacked the mainframe and started learning by doing, right? And my career has been like that. I took 120 credits in Miami-Dade College. I don't remember nothing from that. And I'm sorry, Miami-Dade College. But when I did, I remember all that up to now. Yeah? In reality, the only real way to learn is by doing. Think of doctors. At the end, they go to practicum because they need to learn. The education is not teaching them to learn. You learn when you do. And that's why it's so important that.
So, how important is education in society today, you think? If you don't need to...
Okay, so let's talk about what's happening with AI, right? Mm-hmm. AI is going to kill every job there is. Let's put it that way. It's going to kill everybody. Yeah. And think of the emperor. Every profession is going to be done. I mean, not killing people, but every profession. Law, artists, designers.
Artists, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Designers?
The degrees are going to be killed. Let me put that way. The degrees. That clothes in the emperor are going to be thrown out and you're going to be without clothes. And that's what Heather McGogan is talking about, because then without the degree, then your aptitude, your core values, what your DNA is, what you're good at, your ikigai, it starts coming out at you, and you can find what's the perfect seat for you. Because AI is going to help you, right? If you're good at filming, if you're good at emotional delivery, you can be a speech writer. I mean, if you're good at, but because your profession as a lawyer pretty much is going to be done by an AI agent. So why are you going to be good? And Heather McGogan is talking about that, right? You have to re-envision, rework yourself. So education that way it is not working. And that paper I gave you is about reimagining yourself without those degrees, right? Who are you? And so it could help people reach a much happier stage. That's called ikigai. I don't know if you know what ikigai is.
Yeah.
So, it changes the dynamic. It allows you to find what you're really good at. You're really good at meditation. You may love yoga. So all those key components that make your life are going to resurface, because those ropes of being a PhD on this or PhD on that. AI right now has most probably an IQ of 300, and you can ask any question if you know how to prompt. you're going to get a phenomenal answer. So the only thing that is missing is the domain knowledge, right? You have to have domain knowledge. If you're a filmographer, you know the language for domain knowledge for filmography. If you're a surgeon, neurosurgeon, you know the domain knowledge language for that. So those specific areas of domain knowledge of people that are really good at are going to be used better with AI. AI is augmentative. I don't think it's going to take away, but our roles are going to change drastically, right?
So here she says the question of what do you want to be when you grow up is absurd, right? Is absurd now.
Yeah, because you don't know. I mean, listen, I started a medical school career. That was my first career.
Medical school?
Medical school. Oh my God, in Ecuador, I went running and I was so good. I love science and research. And I went there and there were 2,000 students. And they make you go from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 1 hour and a half of lunch. You have no chance of having an early morning breakfast because you have to go running to the library. And no chance of night work because you have a bibliography and there was not single book you have to research. All the tests were no multiple choice, were either verbal or essay style. They burned you in 2 years. I couldn't take it. I want to party. So when my dreams of medical school, but that's what it is. You cannot decide at the beginning, oh, I'm going to be this, because life changes you, and then you start finding who you are. Yeah, I said, oh shit, I decided that's terrible. I don't want to do that no more. I'm tired of that. That it was a big mistake. And what do you do when you're 35 years old? You have to change your career, right? It's happened to me, but I found my mother forced me to take basic classes in computer. I love doing basic. Then I went I was doing TRS-80 training. Then I went to NCR and certified in analysis and COBOL programming. And I started my career doing COBOL programming for Xerox in Ecuador. And so you find yourself different ways, yeah? You may become a doctor, and at the end of your career, of finishing the doctor, you realize you want to be a disc jockey. You like that party time, and you leave the career and you go, because that's your ikigai. You see what I mean? Your ikigai is not what you think it's going to be, but what you really have in your heart as a person, who you are, what you love, what you hate.
So AI is not here to replace jobs. It's here to
It's augment, yeah, 100%. Eventually, it may become Skynet. The Skynet
so?
very free. Oh yeah, I think science fiction is a glance into the future. You think about Jules Verne. Everything he wrote has happened. Yeah, everything he wrote in a way has happened.
But then why? So it seems pretty stupid of us to keep on investing in AI if we're actually thinking that Skynet is a possibility, isn't it?
Well, you can walk out there and a car comes right and kills you right then and there, right?
What is it?
How come you didn't plan that part? How come you? So it's the same thing. It's the possibility of that. But if we're responsible humans like Russia, we can do something really good, right?
What do you mean, Russia?
Do you think it's a responsible country right now, having wars? You think Korea is a responsible country? So that's the problem with AI. You don't know who is going to take care of AI, right? AI is as good.
But me walking out of my house and getting hit by a car is much less percentage, no? Probability. Or no?
Well, we don't know, but I'm just putting an example, yeah? It's destiny, how we handle that. We cannot control how Russia is going to do AI. We cannot control how Korea is going to do AI, or any other entity, a mafia also, how he's going to do with AI.
They're doing AI, mafia?
Yeah, of course. How much money do you think they have?
Bastante, mucho, a lot.
I mean, more than the richest billionaires out there, because they don't show it. They don't tell you how much they have. You think they cannot invest on that? Oh yeah.
And why would they need to?
Intelligence. I mean, AI is as much of a help as it is a weapon, and can be used as a weapon much worse.
How so? Well,
Well,
I heard this before, but
yeah,
I've
yeah.
never seen.
So, you know Cambridge Analytica?
No.
You don't know Cambridge Analytica?
Cambridge.
Cambridge Analytica.
No.
Have you heard about that?
Oh, I've heard this.
Facebook and Cambridge Analytica?
No, never.
Well, they just paid $8 billion because they did something terrible with AI. $8 billion. And should have been $220 billion from Mark Zuckerberg. There's a movie called The Greatest Hack. You have to watch it. And that explains what happened with Cambridge Analytica. Cambridge Analytica map your emotional content, and they use that to change your opinion, such as elections. Yeah, Cambridge Analytica took that information and used it and weaponized to use for elections, and that's recorded and paid for $8 billion. Cambridge Analytica, after that event with Facebook, disappeared and closed business. I suggest you look at that. That's one of the biggest crimes AI has done to society. Biggest crimes.
Was that in which election?
Trump's.
Trump's election? This recent one?
Before one.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah, yeah. Look at it. That's how they won the election. They use AI to gain advantage.
Who?
Trump.
Wow.
It's there.
But
The greatest hack. Let me give you the film so everybody who watches this can look at it because it's not the great hack. I think it's the great hack. Is it? Yeah.
So that's one way.
So the great hack basically.
But isn't Cambridge a great?
Cambridge used to be one of the best universities in the world. Cambridge Analytica soiled the name of Cambridge University in a huge way.
And how's the status of the school now?
I'm not sure, but Cambridge Analytica is no longer to be found. I think the people are absconded, disappeared with billions of dollars.
Wow.
So, AI can be destructive. Totally.
So that's how Facebook used AI negatively. But going back to what you said about mafia, you could say mafia uses AI in what sense?
I haven't researched it. We can find
but
it.
just an
You can
example.
chat GPT it. Figure out what the FBI is doing. Figure out what you can use to spy on government. You can use because there's information they can find ways by news and circle around their technologies. I mean, AI. Right now, people do not understand how powerful AI is, but AI is incredibly powerful.
Why?
If you know how to use it.
Use.
Think of my only analogy is, if you know AI, you're the one-eyed man in a group of blind people. Yeah? If you know AI, you are the one-eyed person in a group of blind people. Because it allows you, but you need to understand to use it. Your domain knowledge helps you understand and guide AI. Because if you understand how to prompt, or your domain knowledge, or context, now they call context prompting. That's more important. I do context prompting all the time. Context is not just prompting, it's you give the context of the whole setup and becomes a lot more active and accurate how you're going to do it.
So the fundamentals of education will need to be switched 100%. Don't you agree?
That's the paper that I wrote for Heather McGugan. If you want to share that paper, I will recommend you. Because, every university is going to have to change their method. Miami-Dade College looking at that. To do that's the AI clinics. You notice the AI clinics we're taking are hands-on. They are not in making you work on your business, not working on a fake scenario. That is hands-on. That's work to learn, right? Because that you go take to your office as soon as you take the class, and you are working on that because you already work part of your company. So that methodology, that agile Kaizen methodology, is going to become common practice in universities because the current methodologies are poorly prepared to agile agile. Now we need agile education, agile Kaizen education.
And when do you think that? Let me phrase that question a little differently. When or if you see, do you see a change that the government will tell the system of education, look, we need to completely...
It's happening right now. I mean, Miami-Dade College got a grant.
Well, Miami-Dade, I'm talking about K through 9.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I mean, this whole
When?
thing is happening as we're speaking. Because the NSF is funding a lot of this activity, right? It's not going to be spread out, but it's going to be, they're going to be, it's a little bit slow, but eventually it's going to be very fast. Because they're going to need to retrain the human race to learn how to live with AI. And all education is going to be different. Pedro just came in Telenoticias talking about OpenAI and the learning mode it has. Because, also the mentor is going to be OpenAI or Gemini or Claude. Because you are at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out, how do I do this? Hey, OpenAI, how do I do this? And tells you exactly how you do to do it. You are doing nuclear physics, by the way, right? And that's the beauty of it. Now you have a mentor that you can call up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what happened to me? I got hit with a virus, and I didn't know what to do. I went to Copilot and said, guide me what I need to do to get rid of it. Done. I didn't have to call support in Microsoft. I didn't call support in my Dell. I have to support. There was Copilot. It helped me right then and there. It can help you optimize your computer. It can help you rewrite your code. It can help you analyze your website. It can help you analyze your spreadsheet. So,
How does it help you analyze your website?
You just put the website, said, okay, you're a website expert, right? You're going to give
Gemini?
it a prompt. Yep, could be Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek if you want to. And you can prompt it. What do you want to know about your website? Is the visual part of your website professional? Is the coding correct? The colors match? Is the positioning, the format? And so you start with a prompt. You are a professional website designer, and you have researched the top 100 companies' websites, and you are going to be able to provide. You can do something like that to my website, and you continue with a prompt to be able to create what you want. And believe me, the AI from ChatGPT or Gemini will tell you can continue the chain of thought prompting to continue getting more and more information. Because it's going to be better than the best web designer. It's going to be very fair, very straight up, and you can continue asking. You can do that with any. If you're researching medicine, if you want to know about breast cancer, if you're doing, whatever. ChatGPT is changing the way we live our lives. You want a recipe from a cazuela de mariscos from Spain,
But isn't that kind of taking what we have in us and kind of diminishing it a little bit?
No.
Because AI is so much more powerful than us. It's kind of taking away our knowledge.
No. For me, it brings me more because I can learn more. I have this little knowledge, and I can keep on building my knowledge from ChatGPT. I said, okay, I was reading about, I researched about soulbound tokens. And if you don't know about soulbound tokens, you can put Ethereum soulbound tokens, and you learn. But I want to see, can I use soulbound tokens with decentralized identities? Because I didn't know that. It taught me that. I said, can soulbound tokens are unique to a human being? It told me that they're unique to you, or they are unique to an AI agent, by the way. Because if the GE AI agent comes to your door and comes knocking down, how do you know it's a GE AI agent and it's not a fake that's going to steal your money? You need an identity. Decentralized identity in blockchain provide that kind of capability, even in a synthetic entity. Yeah.
Give me a second. I'm gonna check the.
Yeah.
I know you have to leave soon, right?
Yeah. No, I have time. Don't worry.